Tamir Nimrodi was one of them. His body was returned Wednesday night. Nimrodi's family was a prominent voice in Israel in the fight to return all the hostages. The other burial yesterday was for Master Sergeant Mohammed al-Atarash. He was killed during a battle with Hamas militants 2 years ago on the day of the surprise attack. His body was held until this week.
With more on this momentous week in the Middle East, we're going to speak with David Sussman near Jerusalem and Israel. David is the host of Land of the Bible. Good morning to you, sir. What is the latest you're hearing from what we thought was going to be a ceasefire and a ceasing of hostilities?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. So, you said that what we thought was going to be a ceasefire. This isn't my first time on the show and discussing the ceasefire as it was being discussed and implemented. We all had our reservations over here. We know who Hamas is over here. And we had our doubts that Hamas would really lay down their arms. But we wanted to have assurances from America and the international community that if Hamas did not meet the criteria of the ceasefire, that hopefully not just Israel, but it sounds like America, maybe even international coalition, will put an end to this tyrannical regime of Hamas, who, as we can see from the videos that are spreading all around the internet, and they have done this multiple times. I mean, this is nothing new. They are executing people at point blank range right there in the streets of Gaza. So this is who Hamas is. And this is why Israel wanted to eradicate them, wanted to get rid of them once and for all. The ceasefire, we almost were able to completely defeat Hamas. And hopefully the international community will join in this fight against this radical regime.
I think what's so disappointing for people that were hoping that this time could possibly be different is the fact that it appears to just be business as usual when it comes to Hamas. But one of the differences, at least the hope for the differences, was going to be other countries in the region stepping in and trying to make sure that this ends differently than it has in the past. Countries like Qatar, countries like Egypt, countries in the area that will help. How important is their role going to be in this?
So I think the role of the international community will be huge, and definitely here in the Middle East. I mean, places like Turkey, Qatar, these are places that have already funded Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood and other radical ideologies within Islam. So I don't know how trustworthy they are. However, Indonesia, some other countries, and definitely the West, if they get involved and they're able to apply pressure to those other countries like Turkey, like Qatar, then maybe there'll be something positive that will really blossom from this momentous occasion. I mean, here in Israel, I'm wearing my gratitude shirt right now. We are so grateful that our hostages are home. Obviously, we have some bodies that still need to be returned, but all the living hostages are safe and sound here at home, and we're able to celebrate the final days of our holiday season here in Israel, and we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, I can't imagine if you're one of the families waiting for the remains of your loved one, and you were so hopeful that was going to happen sooner rather than later, and it's proving problematic, apparently. Also, David, do you have any insight on what's going on with aid now flowing into Gaza? That was part of this deal, that the aid sort of would be stepped up, but with Hamas still, as we see on the streets of Gaza, executing people, is that impacting what is happening with the aid?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It didn't come in so clear, but from what I think I understood from you, what we're seeing right now in Gaza with Hamas, like I said, what is really, frightening is the deafening silence from all of those protests that we heard on college campuses and throughout the international community. I haven't seen one protest that's saying, hey, look what Hamas is doing. They're executing people in the streets, and we can't have this. There needs to be an end to this genocide that Hamas is committing. Nothing, you're just hearing crickets right now from those very outspoken people when Israel went in to try and eliminate, after 8 Hamas rule, killing people in the streets, whether they were homosexual, whether they were, even Christians, Christians in Gaza. They'll have mixed dancing at their wedding. I know it sounds crazy to us, but, they're so far against, women and men dancing together, drinking alcohol, that they would shoot up when they killed people from the Palestinian Authority when they did their bloody coup in 2005. So this is nothing new to us. We just wish that those voices who spoke up for the Palestinians during the last 2 years would speak up for them now, which they didn't do for the previous 18 years of Hamas's rule. So I guess it's really not so surprising.
All right, David Sussman, the host of Land of the Bible. Always appreciate you joining us from Israel. I think on both sides of this equation, there were fears that we were rushing the deal without just celebrating the hostage being returned, because one, you didn't hear Benjamin Netanyahu say a word about a future Palestinian state. And on the other side, there were fears that Hamas would never disarm. So it appears on both sides, they weren't quite ready for a deal or Mideast peace. Yeah. The hostages returned was a huge moment. But I think the announcement of this 20-point deal, we were nowhere near.
Where does it go from here?
Yeah.